Anyway, we will play this out. If we win, we're into the next round no matter what. So we will try to do that, obviously. And we're going to throw DeGrom in this big game three. And then maybe, hopefully, DeGrom would be ready to go for the championship. I'm not sure, though. That star might go to Chris Archer after what he did in his last start. Um, but we're going to stick with the same lineup we've been going with because it's been working, and I don't want to mess with it at this point. I know I said I was going to try to switch it up as much as I could, but I think we've kind of established what our good lineup is. So, or at least what most of the components of our good lineup is. I keep Pollock in there because he's hitting, and he plays a better defensive center field than Betts does. And if we play Betts in right, then our defensive outfield with Benintendi in left is pretty disgusting, which I definitely like to have. So we will keep playing Bellinger too, I think, because he's been pretty good. Bellinger, Stanton, Benintendi, Bryant, and then we'll keep Pollock hitting ninth because I like hitting a decent hitter in the nine hole just to have someone potentially on base for when Turner comes up. So, and DeGrom getting the start against Marco Estrada. This Mexico lineup: Luis Urias, Christian Villanueva, and a bunch of guys I've never heard of. And they have Marco Estrada, who is not very good anymore. So if we lose this game, that would be disappointing. But we will see what happens. Us versus Mexico once again playing in LA. Although this doesn't even, it's just not reminiscent of Dodger Stadium one bit. We get 2 runs in the top of the first. Ooh, 4 runs across against Jacob deGrom. Yikes. Not sure what that was about. Maybe a grand slam? I'm not sure. But anyway, we're down 4-2 now. We've got Turner on third with no one out. That is lined into left field. That's going to get down. So a base knock that gets a run home for Corey Seager. Now a man on first with no one out for Mookie Betts. He flies one. And this is going to be out number 1. Now for Cody Bellinger. He's also got a 1-2 count. Hits this one softly. This could be 2, and they're not even going to try and turn it. So that's going to keep the inning going. And a man on for Stanton. He takes ball 4, so 2 men on now, including 1 in scoring position for Andrew Benintendi. He's got a full count. The runners are going to be on the move. And he takes ball 4. The bases are loaded now. Back-to-back walks by Marco Estrada, who's still in the game. He's got 6 walks and no strikeouts this game. And Chris Bryant swinging at the first pitch. He grounds one, and that's going to be out number 3. The third baseman, Villanueva, firing to second for out number 3. We get one of those runs back, so it's 4-3 Mexico right now as we head to the bottom of the third. DeGrom threw a couple easy innings there. Now let's see. They're keeping Estrada in, and Estrada with an easy inning. Now DeGrom facing the bottom part of their lineup. Gets through that. He's got to be around 61 pitches. Might let him go one more inning. Here we go. Man on second for Betts with Bellinger at the dish. Edwin Fierro is in the game, and that is down the right field line. That is going to get the tying run in, and it's Cody Bellinger coming up big once again. He did not start the first couple of games. We kind of had Freeman entrenched as a starter until we made that swap at the beginning of this round of play. But Bellinger has been making an impact in his first 3 games as the solidified starter at first base. As he hits the game-tying double, Stanton striking out, no surprise there. Now Benintendi with a base knock into right field, proving who the superior outfielder is between those last 2 guys. And here we go. Do we want to send Bellinger? Probably not. I'm not going to. So 2 outs for Chris Bryant. Bryant with a chance. And Bryant hitting one sharply, but it's stabbed by the first baseman. Amador makes the play. That is out number 3. To the bottom of the 5th we go. This game is tied at 4. And it's DeGrom still out there. Now he's into some trouble first and third with nobody out. And this is where we're going to want Chad Green to be up and ready. It is Christian Villanueva, a home run threat at the dish, and he gets plunked. And he's saying something to DeGrom there as he heads down to first base. DeGrom may be getting a little bit tired here. 72 pitches. We know he's not going to be all the way stretched out quite yet. It's Amador at the dish with a full count. Chad Green's not going to be quite ready yet, and that is going to be stabbed by the first baseman. He'll go to first for the out. Run does come across, I think, yes. And 5-4 is the score with Uriarte at the dish. I think we'll get Green in here. And I'm going to pitch around this guy because I don't mind if we walk him. But he's got 0-2 count, and it's a big strikeout. That's the thing about if you do the pitch around in a situation like that, you might walk him, but it does increase the chance of a strikeout too because you're just going to be throwing junk outside of the zone. You might be able to get someone to swing at that. And there we go, back-to-back strikeouts. So Chad Green comes into the game, gets 2 huge strikeouts, limits the damage, and keeps this game at 5-4 as it is Buster Posey up at the plate now. Posey spraying one to right center, but that is going to be caught as I was just noticing that this Mexico team has a very nice defensive outfield, and I remember their whole defense is actually pretty good except for this first baseman. But look at this outfield, a 60 with an 80 arm, 70 great center fielder, and a 65 left fielder. And I remember, pointing out there during the run differential, they had allowed the second least runs in this tournament so far. And that's despite playing more games than some of these other teams. That means they've allowed less runs than some of those teams that got eliminated in that first group stage. And I think their outfield defense probably has something to do with that. But here we go. We got Turner on second with 2 outs for Corey Seager. Seager into center field. That's a base hit. Turner. I'm gonna run it. This is a fantastic runner against a great arm. Here we go. The throw home is not in time. No, they got him. Oh my goodness. The little well, I got fooled by the animation, I suppose. The play-by-play saying otherwise. It looked like he was safe, but he was called out, and this game remains 5-4. So here we go. Chad Green's still in. He threw only 7 pitches last inning, and man, he continues to just be supremely good. Gonna take him out after this. We get Britton in for the 8th. Or for the 7th, I suppose. As it's now 2 on with 1 out for Andrew Benintendi. Another scoring opportunity here. This one flared to center. That is going to be caught by Tomato. 2 down for Chris Bryant. 3-0 count. He takes ball 4 from Luis Cessa, another major leaguer. As that is going to load the bases for Buster Posey, who is only hitting .214 this tournament. This is like the perfect pinch hit opportunity, so I'm going to do just that with Bryce Harper, none other than Bryce Harper. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go Harper here, and I'm just going to regret it right away. I know he's going to strike out. Yep. Most predictable strikeout of all time right there. I probably should have known from using him in the playoffs and just watching him strike out over and over again in those big spots last year that he would have done that to me right there. I knew that was going to happen, but I just wanted to watch it play out. So, anyway, let's put Grandal. He's the better defender, I guess. Britton now into the game for us. Gives us a scoreless 7th through 11 pitches. Might give him another inning here. Top 8. We got a leadoff double from A.J. Pollock. He's the tying run. Trey Turner now facing Francisco Rios. Hits one the other way. That is going to be caught by the right fielder, Kova Rubias. Now 1 out for Corey Seager. Full count. Grounds one right side. That's going to be out number 2 as Pollock takes 3rd on the play, but it's 2 outs for Mookie Betts. And Betts with a ground ball to the shortstop, throw to first in time. And Mexico 3 outs away from pulling off an upset over this U.S. team. As we head to the bottom of the 8th, I'm going to keep Britton in, but I'm going to warm up A.J. Minter. And if Britton runs into trouble here or his pitch count gets too high, we'll take him out. Here we go, 2 on with 1 out. And I'm going to get Minter into this ball game, see if he can get me a strikeout here. Nope, 1-0 count to Reboledo, and that's a soft grounder. They're going to try for 2, and they turn it. A nice double play. That was a 1-6-3 double play right there. Pretty nicely done. I haven't seen too many of those double play balls turned in this game when it's a ground ball to the pitcher. In fact, those can be tricky plays for the pitcher, even to just get 1 out sometimes. But here we go. Top of the 9th. Cody Bellinger leading things off. And he hits one high and deep to left field. This ball is back, and it is gone! And Cody Bellinger ties it up. A solo home run to the opposite field, and Cody Bellinger has tied this game at 5 in the 9th inning, a 433-foot shot. And we are tied at 5. There you go on 1 swing of the bat, Cody Bellinger making Rios pay in his 2nd inning of work here now. It is Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-2 count. He strikes out swinging, no surprise there. Andrew Benintendi is up next. He's got a 1-0 count. And Benintendi hitting one softly, and that is just a classic Andrew Benintendi hit right there. A softly hit single. And that is going to put a man on for Chris Bryant with one out. Bryant taking ball 4, and the go-ahead run is into scoring position. Rios, no, they're going to go to a new pitcher now. Fernando Miranda, who looks like he doesn't even play in the U.S. And Grandal, yeah, I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to pinch it with Freeman, because that's just a no-brainer right there, baby. Although Freeman's got 2 strikes on him. Freeman continues to struggle. Pollock now with 2 on and 2 out. Ground ball, and this is going to get Mexico out of it. So the tying run does score, but we could have had the go-ahead run there, and we do not get him across. So now we're down to no more catchers left on the bench. Hopefully no one gets hurt. We're going to leave Minter in for now. And Minter with a scoreless 9th sends us to extra innings. Minter's at 11 pitches. And here we go. It is Trey Turner leading things off in the top of the 10th. We've got 2 on and 1 out for Cody Bellinger. He was the hero last inning, and he hits another bomb to deep right center. Goodbye! A 3-run home run for Cody Bellinger. Captain America putting the U.S. on his back in this game against Mexico. And like I said before, a win would clinch us a spot in the next round. And Cody Bellinger is trying to single-handedly get us to the elimination round, the semifinals, it would be. And Stanton with the double, so we've got another runner on for Benintendi, who takes ball 4, as he's been getting on base a ton. I'm going to get Tui Valea up, but it's going to be Bryant hitting with 2 on, 1 out. Bryant to right field. That is going to fall. That one dropping in there for a base hit. And that's going to load the bases for Jonathan Lucroy. First catcher to actually hit for us in a couple, last couple plate appearances. That's going to be a sacrifice fly, it looks like. As I'm not sure who just scored there, but I think it was Stanton. So 9-5 now, and it's A.J. Pollock up. And Pollock hitting one to right center. That is going to get down, I suppose. Benintendi, we're going to send him against the strong arm right fielder from Puerto Rico. And Benintendi scores. So another run across for the U.S. It's 10-5. And now the floodgates are opening. That's ball 4 to Turner. Bases are going to be juiced for Corey Seager. And Seager striking out swinging, but 5 runs across for the U.S. in the 10th. We've got a 5-run lead now. And we're just going to put Tui Valea in the game, because why burn Minter more than we have to at this point? And, all right, a leadoff home run for Amador. But that was all that Mexico could conjure up, as we're going to win 10-6. We go undefeated in this second group stage. Cody Bellinger, excuse me. Cody Bellinger, absolute MVP performance. Him and Chad Green, the MVPs so far, as Bellinger's been a difference maker in our lineup, and he showed it last game. So here we go. Well, let's see who we're going to be taking on in the semifinal. We got 1 or 2 games left, as we finally suffer an injury for the Mets. And it's going to be Cuba. So us versus Cuba, and we'll see what the other half of the semifinals are in this tournament. Us versus Cuba, and Japan versus Mexico. So Mexico does move on. They ended up going, or actually what ended up happening was exactly what I said could happen. One team went 3-0, us, and everyone else went 1-2, because I think Puerto Rico did beat Canada in that last game, which set up a 3-way 1-2 tiebreaker, and it was Mexico who moved on. I'm not sure why, because Puerto Rico was +4 run differential and Canada was +9. Mexico was only +1, so it was something else. It wasn't run differential. I don't know what. Maybe it was run differential in this round, I suppose, because this might. Well, it definitely wasn't run differential this round, because Mexico's only win was by 1 run. So I really don't know what it was that gave Mexico the edge with the tiebreaker, but they're taking on Japan in the other round. We're facing Cuba. Let's take a look at Cuba and Japan. Cuba is a +14. They've been pretty solid so far. And Japan is a +5, a little bit more shaky, but they went undefeated in the first round, and both them and Cuba went 2-1 this last round. Cuba went 2-1 in the opening stage. But we're tied for the best record so far in this tournament with Japan. Both of us are 5-1. Our losses have come in different stages, but anyway, we have won our last 4 games too, so that's a good good little momentum. Good little bit of momentum heading into the semifinal and hopefully the final as well. Like I said, maximum 2 more games, minimum 1, of course, and we're gonna be sticking with more or less the same lineup. Seager in there at second base, or Seager in there at shortstop, I should say, with Turner at second base, and we'll keep Pollock in the lineup. We'll keep Betts in the lineup over Bryce Harper. And I say we start Jonathan Lucroy just because Posey's been struggling and don't want to burn him out anyway. And we'll move Seager to the top of the lineup. Hit Bellinger fourth and Stanton. And do we want to DH Turner? Or we could use Benintendi. I think Benintendi's probably been too good to leave out. Play him in left and DH Stanton. The question is we could also DH someone other than Stanton. They do have a lefty on the mound though, so I'm just going to keep Stanton there. Then Bryant, Lucroy, and Pollock. Kluber on the mound for us. He's going to get the start. He struggled his last time out, but he was dominant in the first game against Colombia. And it's us versus Cuba. Cuba, of course, they've got some major leaguers, so this is a little bit different. The Cuba teams that they usually send are none of the guys who have defected, but I guess that could change since the U.S. and Cuba opened their political relationship again like 18 months ago or something like that. So that could change now, I suppose. They might let some of these guys like Cespedes, Gurriel, Abreu, Yonder, Alonso, Yohan Moncada actually play on this team. But wow, I didn't even know like Yandy Diaz. He's definitely not a catcher, but he's catching for them. So this is a weird Cuba lineup, and I'm not sure who their pitcher is, but here we go. Semifinals from LA. 8 o'clock local time, I suppose, which is kind of weird because it'd be 11 o'clock Eastern start for a semifinal game in this tournament. But they have this 21-year-old Morahone who played in Double-A last year, throwing for them. But he's a good little prospect, so we'll see what he does. Bottom 1, and we're scoreless through 1 as Kluber. No problems for him yet. We've got 2 on, no out for Benintendi. And Benintendi pops one up. Left side foul territory. That is going to be caught by the catcher. Diaz making a play out of position, as I already mentioned. 1 out for Bryant. He's hitting one to left. This one looks like he got under it, and that is going to be out number 2. Runner tagging. So we got first and third now with 2 outs for Jonathan Lucroy in as the starter over Posey today, but he strikes out swinging in his first big opportunity. So through 2, we are scoreless. Kluber giving up a run there in the top of the third. Bottom 3 now. Leadoff double for A.J. Pollock. And that resets our lineup. Turner up. He strikes out swinging. Corey Seager now with 2 strikes. He puts one into play. Left center. But this should be playable, and it's going to be caught. 2 down as Cespedes makes the play. Now Mookie Betts lining one into left field for a base hit. Runner is going to hold at third. Didn't even give us the chance to try and send him. Cespedes, of course, has the big arm, but Pollock is pretty fast. And now we've got a lefty-on-lefty matchup here with 2 outs. Bellinger up, and Bellinger goes down swinging, so I definitely would have tried to send him if I had the opportunity to there, but I suppose if I didn't get the chance to, then he probably would have been out. So here we go. Top 4, Kluber, still pitching fine. Bottom 4 now. And another man in scoring position with 1 out for Chris Bryant. As that ball gets away from the catcher, Diaz. And Diaz, like I said, playing out of position. That appeared to make a difference on that play. So that looked like a pass ball. Bryant now with a 2-1 count. And that's going to be through into center field for a base hit. So that ties the game. And that pass ball may be making a difference there, although Benintendi might have scored anyway. But Bryant with an RBI single. Now Jonathan Lucroy up with 2 strikes on him. He strikes out swinging. Now it is A.J. Pollock up with 2 down. And that is also going to get away from Diaz. So the runner into scoring position now for Pollock. Pollock up the middle. That's a base hit. Bryant is not going to have a chance to score. So that time the pass ball not really making a difference. But maybe that kind of proves that. And Victor Mesa, double Victor right there. But he's got a 75 grade arm. Doesn't that kind of prove that their previous pass ball made a difference because Benintendi was able to score from third instead of being stuck on second. But here we go. Bases loaded. Not bases loaded, but now it's bases loaded because that's ball 4. So it's Seager up. And he flies one to center. Shallow center, Victor Mesa. Any chance I get to say his name, I'm going to do it. He makes the play. So we get the tying run across, but we leave the bases loaded. Entering the fifth, Kluber's at 53 pitches, and he's got a runner on third with one out for Victor Mesa at the dish, who grounds one to the shortstop. Good play by Corey Seager, but that's going to get the run across. So 2-1 now. It is Cuba in front. Kluber threw 5 at 74 pitches. I think that's probably going to do it for him. Let's do Aaron Nola in relief. Why not? As Morahone's still in the game for Cuba. He gets through another scoreless inning, though. I'm going to turn the game over to Aaron Nola. See what he can do. As he gives us a scoreless sixth. To the bottom of the sixth we go. Nothing going there for us, and we're down to our final 9 outs now. It's Nola facing the middle of this lineup. I want to be careful here, but it is some right-handed batters, which is good. That's out number 1. Now it's Gurriel at the dish. He goes down swinging. 2 down for Yoenis Cespedes, the former Met. And he goes down looking, so Nola with a couple of strikeouts there to end off the inning. He's through 2 scoreless. We, like I said, only have 9 outs left to try and get a couple runs across, as I'm going to take Nola out. Turn the game over to Britton. Full count. It's a new pitcher into the game for Cuba. And this is Trey Turner leading it off with a full count, and he takes ball 4, so the tying run is on base. Oh, and this isn't easy. I'm just going to force him to go. Shouldn't even be close, honestly. And yep, Turner with an easy steal of second. On strike 1 there to Corey Seager. I could even ask him to steal third here, but I'm not going to get greedy just yet. Corey Seager with a 3-1 count. He hits one sharply. That's down the right field line. And that's going to tie up the ball game. Corey Seager heading for 2, and he is... It looked like he is in there. I'm not going to say anything yet, though. He is. And a game-tying RBI double for Corey Seager, as the steal of second there paid off. That got the run across for sure. Now it is Mookie Betts up with the go-ahead run in scoring position, and that gets away from Diaz. So the go-ahead run now 90 feet away with no one out, and one of the best contact hitters in baseball. Mookie Betts hits one sharply, but well played by the third baseman, and that is going to hold the runner at third. Nice play by Yuli Gurriel. 1 out for Cody Bellinger. He's been a hero a couple times already this tournament, but he strikes out. Looking there, 2 down for Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton with a grounder, and this is going to be out number 3. So we get the go-ahead run to third base with no one out and do not get him across. That is a blown chance right there. We do tie up the game, but disappointing that we could not take the lead, as we certainly should have, with the runner on third, no one outs, and our number 3 hitter at the dish. And Betts, Bellinger, and Stanton all couldn't get him home. That is definitely disappointing. Zach Britton in the game now, into this tied game in the 8th inning. And he gives us a scoreless 8th on 8 pitches. So I'm going to leave him in for now. Chapman is in for Cuba, as it's Benintendi leading it off. And we've got 2 on with no one out for Jonathan Lucroy. Kind of tempted to bunt here, but I'm going to let Lucroy swing away. So I'm really only trying to play for 1 run. He takes ball 4, so good thing I didn't bunt, as the bases are now loaded for A.J. Pollock. Pollock has a 2-1 count. Pollock into left field. That's a base hit. The U.S. takes the lead. Here comes another run, and it's 4-2 Americans, as the U.S. takes a 4-2 lead on the 2 RBI single by A.J. Pollock. And now we are in the driver's seat, as Chapman gets the strikeout there. And now I'm going to actually get someone up. I'm going to get Minter up over Britton, because if I use Britton for 2 innings, he might not be available in a championship game scenario. So I'm gonna just try to go to my closer and get these last 3 outs from someone other than Britton, and hopefully save Britton. Playing a little bit of the long game here, but here we go. Raisel Iglesias into the game now to face. I think this is Corey Seager. Tough play for the second baseman. Everyone's gonna be safe. Moncada couldn't make a throw. He had nowhere to go with it, and now the bases are loaded for Mookie Betts. He's got a 2-2 count. He strikes out swinging. A rare strikeout for Mookie Betts. Now it's Bellinger with 2 strikes. And he goes down swinging. So a couple of big strikeouts from Iglesias. He keeps this a 2-run game. But it is 4-2 after 2 runs come across for the U.S. And we are 3 outs away from moving on to the championship. It's going to be A.J. Minter into the game, dealing with 9, 1, and 2 in this Cuban lineup. Minter facing Yandy Diaz, who goes down swinging, and Diaz has had a rough day all around. Cannot offer up an explanation for why he is playing catcher for this Cuban team, other than maybe all of their catchers are hurt, but I don't know. Here we go. I guess you have to select the roster like a month ahead of time, so maybe something weird could have happened. But anyway, it's a walk with 2 outs. The tying run is up for Abreu. The tying run in the form of Abreu, I should say, is up. And he is a home run hitter, so this game is not over yet. But he goes down swinging, and the U.S. is moving on to the championship game here in the 2020 World Baseball Classic. And that was a pretty good game here. You see Cuba had the edge in win probability for a little bit there before we tied it in the 7th and took the lead in the 8th. So a late rally gives us the win, and we are moving on to the championship round where we will be taking on Japan, who I would say was probably the favorite in that game over Mexico, and they did win 5-1. Good performance from their starter, Sugano, who probably is their best pitcher. He has been dynamite in Japan. Wow, if this guy ever came over, I'd love to sign him. He has been a stud in Japan the last couple of years, and now is doing the same thing on the biggest stage of his career at the World Baseball Classic. But he's not going to be starting this championship game, so he's not going to help them here as we take on the Japanese team in the finale. And I'm not sure who they're going to go with, but we will find out. I don't know if DeGrom's going to be ready. He might not be, and if he's not, then it'll probably be Chris Archer. It might be Archer anyway, because Archer was certainly good, but we could use both guys in this game. Even if DeGrom is only on 3 days of rest, he would probably be fine coming out of the bullpen for an inning or two, which I might decide to do. Let's see. He pitched in this Mexico game. That was on the 22nd. This game is on the 27th, so he would have had 4 full days of rest. But I think I'm going to start. Well, actually, Archer was so good out of the bullpen last time, it almost makes me think DeGrom should start, and Archer should be the one to come out of the pen. But we'll see. We'll see if DeGrom is indeed fully rested. And he is. So I'm going to go with DeGrom, but I think Archer's going to be the first guy out of the bullpen no matter what. Japan still has a good starter in this guy. There are some good guys playing in Japan, and this is one of them. He's more. The other guy, Tsuganu, is more of a finesse control guy. This guy, Fujinami, is definitely more of a strikeout pitcher. As you can see, he's striking out 12.6 guys per 9 in this World Baseball Classic, and he's pitching well despite a 394 opponent's BABIP rating, or batting average, BABIP average, whatever you want to call it. And the rest of the lineup, not a lot of names you'll recognize, but decent players. This is why, I mean, it's no coincidence that this Japanese team is in the final, despite not having major leaguers. They have plenty of guys who are playing in the MPB who are capable. And look at this guy, Tetsudo Yamada. I can never pronounce any of these names, but he's been dominating the NPB the last 2 years. 50 home runs, 10 win seasons, and they only play 144 games, so that 10 wins is even more impressive when you think about it. And he's been doing it for a few years now. He really took the league by storm, it looks like, when he was 21. So we'll see if this guy ever comes over and plays in the U.S. But anyway, DeGrom getting the start, and we'll do in the lineup one final time. I am going to go with Lucroy as the catcher, and we'll keep Seager in there playing shortstop with Trey Turner at second base. Keep Betts in there as well in right field, and keep Bellinger in there because Bellinger has just been Mr. Clutch all tournament, at least since we've been playing him, which wasn't all tournament, so I guess I shouldn't say that, but all right. And I'm going to leave Pollock in that 9 hole because I think that's been working, getting guys on for Corey Seager. So here we go. Jacob deGrom taking the mound in the championship game. He is no stranger to the big stage, pitching in the World Series just last season and helping the Mets win their first World Series since 1986. So here we go. The championship game from LA. Japan is the home team, and they've got 2 guys on and 1 out against deGrom in the bottom of the first. 3-1 count to Satsugo. He takes ball 4. Bases are loaded for Saya Suzuki. 1 strike on him. He flies one to pretty deep right center field. This should get a run home, but it's going to be out number 2. And it looks like Betts trying to make that throw all the way home, but not even close as Japan Strikes first now. 2 strikes to Mori. He goes down for out number 3. DeGrom is out of the jam. But Japan jumps onto the board first. They have a 1-0 lead. DeGrom now a little bit more trouble in the second, 2 on and 2 out. Got 2 strikes on the batter, Takayama, who flies one to right center. And this is going to be caught by Mookie Betts for out number 3, or excuse me, AJ Pollock. I keep thinking Betts is playing center, but Pollock is. Betts is in right. So here we go, top 3. DeGrom is at 42, 43 pitches, 47. So I'm going to get Archer up. I think this is going to be DeGrom's last inning, unless he has a really easy inning. But nope, runner leadoff double for Yamada. Now bases loaded for Satsugo, who strikes out swinging. Now Suzuki up with 1 strike on him. And this is going to be out number 3, or out number 2, excuse me, on the ground out. Now it's Mori. Still with that man in scoring position. That one hit sharply, but a good play by Bellinger. And that is going to be out number 3. So DeGrom, I think he is going to be done after 3 innings. We're going to turn the game over to Archer, who came into this exact spot the last time he appeared in a game and proceeded to throw 6 perfect innings in relief of, I think he was in relief of Aaron Nola that game. So here we go. Top 4. We need some runs. We need a run at least, and nothing going there for us. We have only sent the minimum up, so their starter is dominating us. I'm not sure if we have a hit. Let's take a look. We have 1 hit, but no one has walked. So it's been a tough go of it for us at the plate. Archer is into the game, and not quite picking up where he left off. 2 guys on with 1 out now for Yasuda. This ball flown to center. Pollock under it. I think this is going to get the run home. Pollock is going to throw to the cutoff man. So make it 2-0 Japan now, as Archer surrendering a run. Now it's Takayama with a man on first. And that is going to be flown to shallow right. Tough play, but a nice play by Mookie Betts as he dove after it and made the play for out number 3. But Japan taking a 2-run lead now. And we need to get something going on offense if we want to try and not lose in this championship game. Archer now on for his second inning of work, unscathed as we head to the top of the 6th. We have still sent the minimum to the plate, and Fujinama, their starter, is really just not having a problem. Fujinami, excuse me. As Lucroy, here we go, something hit sharply. That's down the right field line. Lucroy heading for second. He is going to be in there. A little bit of a hesitation there from the second baseman as Lucroy slides into second safely. We got a man in scoring position now. Might be the first time all game. And it's AJ Pollock, who strikes out swinging, 2 down for the leadoff man, Corey Seager, who's also got 2 strikes on him, and he goes down swinging. Man, Fujinami is just dialing it up tonight, as he's not having a problem with our lineup. Archer, 2 on and 1 out. I'm going to get someone warming up now. Let's get Chad Green warming up. Should be using Green this game, as that's going to be straight through on Kyoto. Now Yasuda is up, and I'm just going to go to Green right now, I think. Let's do a mound visit. Hit a speed bump, but now I'm accelerating again. I don't really know what to interpret that as, but I'm just going to leave Archer and screw it. Green isn't quite ready yet. That ball hit to right, and this should be out number 3. Betts is there. So Archer does throw 3 innings, only gives up the 1 run. Both him and DeGrom equaling each other in 3-inning stints in this game, but we've got to get some runs. Betts goes down swinging. Another strikeout. 7 strikeouts for Fujinami. No walks. He's got a 1.69 ERA, live ERA through this tournament, including tonight's game. As there we go. There's a base hit. Cody Bellinger getting on. Just our 3rd hit of the night off of Fujinami. And Stanton, he can change this with 1 swing of the bat. We know he has that capability. And that ball gets off the glove of the catcher, so the runner Bellinger advancing to second. We would take any run at this point. We need 1 run at least this inning. But that is going to be a fly or a pop-up. Third baseman is there. And that is out number 1. Now Andrew Benintendi up. 2-2 count. He pops one up into the infield. And this is going to be out number 3. So we strand the runner at second base. Still 2-0 Japan. And things not looking very good for us at this point, as it's Chad Green into the game. Green gives up a run, make it 3-0 Japan, as that's the first run that Green allowed this entire tournament. And we went through the 8th, did not get anything going there. I'm going to leave Green in to start this inning since I have no one else warm. As that ball hit well to left field, this ball has a chance. Oh, a nice catch. What a play by Benintendi. That was a nice catch. Now not Pollock, Kyoto is up. He strikes out swinging. Yasuda hitting a fly ball to center. This is going to be out number 3, but a run across, and it's 3. No, a run across last inning. It's 3-0 Japan still, as Green gives us 2 innings there. But look at Fujinami. He's still going 112 pitches, and he's not even tired. This is the thing about these Japanese pitchers is they all have the high stamina rating because in Japan these guys throw less often, but they will go deeper into the game. So that's actually 112 pitches is not abnormal for a Japanese pitcher. But here we go. He's staying in. He's going to try and go for the complete game shutout, and he might get him, man. 11 strikeouts now as he sets down Pollock. Now Corey Seager hits one to right center or to right field. That's going to be caught. 2 down. Our last chance is Mookie Betts, and he goes down on a strikeout fittingly. And honestly, I mean, what can you say? Hats off to that. Both of those starters from Japan. I mean, really, I think both of those guys won Japan this tournament, and they kind of deserve it the way those guys pitched. So disappointing end to the World Baseball Classic or the World Cup of Baseball, but oh well, we've come up just short. Give us more motivation to play when it comes around next time in 3 or 4 years or whenever it's going to be. All right, so I'm adding this on to the end of part 2 of the World Baseball Classic episode because this is also really the end of the off season, and we're actually going to have a couple moves to make here because we just have too many infielders. If you remember, we kind of had that pinch at the end of last year with Rosario and then Jimenez coming up, as well as Hampson, who we acquired just before the deadline last year, as kind of a depth piece. And Hampson probably in the long run is going to fill Cicchini's role. But Cicchini's still not bad, and he still makes the minimum. So Hampson, I think, is pretty likely to start the year in AAA and just serve as a depth piece for us for the time being. But it's really a matter of picking, between Jimenez and Rosario. And at this point, I've just, Rosario's had his chances, and he just has not hit a lick for us. He was on the Dominican Republic team in the World Baseball Classic, but you can see the last 2 years. I mean, it was a little bit better last year. And I mean, I still think he could be a good shortstop, but he does hold a lot of value around the league still. Probably not as much as if I traded him 4 or 5 months ago, but that's oh well, can't do anything about that. But I was just kind of exploring trades, and I was thinking about a couple different moves for Rosario, which I'll show off in a sec. But I also saw that Peter Alonso was a guy that kind of held some value, and I mean I understand that because he could definitely be an everyday first baseman, but we have Dominic Smith, who I'm pretty intent on keeping for the time being as my everyday first baseman. I think he's a pretty solid player, but anyway, it's sort of besides the point because I was kind of just exploring Peter Alonso trades and explaining why I was exploring Peter Alonso trades. And there's one in particular that I think is just an absolute no-brainer that I just can't refuse, and it's actually a first baseman for a first baseman trade. And it's going to be for Jack Zollner, this guy from the Phillies who I just look at his ratings and I see a clear stud. I see a definite stud, a guy who's going to come up, and he's going to be almost ready now. He hasn't played yet. He hasn't made his debut. Basically, he spent most of the year at AAA last year. His numbers haven't been great in the minors, so maybe that's why he's being a little bit undervalued. But, I mean, even our head scout doesn't think he's going to hit for as much power as the OSA ratings, but still, with a 70 contact and, plus defensive skills at first base with full control, I mean, this is just a stud that does not get offered a lot of the time in this game. I mean, it's very rare to be able to trade for a prospect who I think could be as good as this guy could be. So, I mean, I'll search out if there are other guys I could give up, but yeah, I mean, of this group, definitely Alonso is the guy. Because I think Alonso in the long run wouldn't be any better than Dominic Smith anyway. He'd be a decent first baseman, but certainly not a standout player. I think that's pretty much what's in store for him. But I think Zollner could definitely be a plus starter. So I'm going to go ahead and do this deal. I don't really see any relievers that I think would be good throw-ins. Sixto Sanchez is kind of a stud prospect, but I guess his ratings have fallen off a little bit. But yeah, I'm not even going to mess around. I'm just going to do this straight up. So Zollner is going to start the year in AAA, and that's going to open up one extra roster spot for us, which Hampson will probably fill because did Zollner get put in? I don't know where Zollner got put. Is he here? He's not here. So we do have Gurriel who can play first base as the DH, so we can probably carry two infielders then. But that still leaves one of these guys as the odd man out, and I'm still, I know I could send Hampson down to AAA like I said I would, but eventually Zollner's going to come up, and I'm going to have to get rid of one of these infielders anyway. So this brings me back to these Rosario trades, and he still could fetch me a pretty decent return. The first name I saw off the bat that came to mind was Alex Claudio, who's a kind of a junk ball lefty, but he's pretty solid. He's got 2 years of team control left, and you can see the stats for the last couple of years. He's been pretty good. But we don't really need a lefty. A lot of the time, a left-handed reliever is in need in the bullpen. But we just signed Andrew Miller and Zach Britton, so the fact that Claudio is a lefty doesn't really add as much value as it would in a normal situation. And then there are a couple nice starters here that are available. Carlos Martinez, he's got 4 years left on his deal, 3 really, because that last year's a team option. And he's been pretty solid for the Cardinals these first 2 years of this Dynasty series. And another name that stuck out to me was Madison Bumgarner, who's 30 years old. He is coming off of a bit of a down year, and he's got more years left on his contract, but probably it's a little bit less money AAV wise. Still though, honestly, I think I actually like Martinez better than Bumgarner just based on age and contract. Martinez is a couple years younger as well. He should really be entering the prime of his career right now. It might be a little bit more fragile than Bumgarner though. Well, I don't even know if you can say that honestly, because Bumgarner has been banged up more lately in his career. But those weren't the only good offers, and actually those weren't either of the offers I think I'm going to take, because the one that really caught my attention was one from the Detroit Tigers, and I'm just looking at some of these other names. There's also like another infielder, Adalberto Mondesi, formerly known as Roel Mondesi Jr., who kind of similar to Rosario, a bit of a light hitting shortstop with good defensive skills. I just feel like that's a pretty lateral move to do that. AJ Pollock kind of interesting too. He signed that contract. He's got too long term of a contract, I think, though. But he's a good center fielder. He's coming off a good year for Kansas City after signing with them. But we don't need an outfielder. And really, it was this Jake Rogers offer because I know Rogers doesn't. I mean, his bat is never going to be anything really special at all. But I think his defensive skills, his team control, and the fact that we could just utilize him as a bench player this year, and really, we don't have a long-term catcher. We have Real Muto, who's a free agent after this year, and who knows if we're going to try and re-sign him or not. But I think if you get Rogers, we could at least say we don't have to sign Real Muto to a contract we don't want to give him if he has a good year. Rogers just gives us some insurance there, and I think just he's not the best player that's being offered up to us, but I think based on our own needs, the only thing that we might need equally to another catcher, a young, cost-controllable catcher in the organization, is maybe another outfielder just to fill that fourth outfielder role. Victor Caratini also available. He's got better offensive ratings than Rogers, but I don't like the defensive ratings, and I definitely value the defense out of the catcher more. I also think he's already a 40 grade catcher at 26 years old. As he gets older, that's only going to go down. And if he even goes down to just 35 or 30, that could be a real disaster. And Zach Collins, kind of a similar thing. He doesn't have the defensive ratings, and he's also a little bit more of a higher variance player with those strikeouts. So that's just kind of a bit of a higher risk, higher reward type of guy. He could really work out or he could really bust. Some other good players available: Jackie Bradley. Bradley probably a little bit too good to be that fourth outfielder for us. Dansby Swanson was kind of another interesting one, but I don't really feel like the Braves would do that trade. Swanson for Rosario. That'd be crazy if that trade happened in real life, though, just thinking about that. But anyway, so I think it's a matter of do we want to trade for one of the two starters or go after the catcher? And I think with our starters, I mean, we just signed DeGrom to that little bit of an extension. We have Syndergaard, who's a free agent in 2 years. We have Steven Matz, who is a free agent in 2 years, who I think is probably going to stick around until then, unless it goes south for him. But I think he's been pretty solid for us. Justin Dunn is going to be around. I mean, that's the thing. Maybe if we made a move for a starter, Dunn could go to the bullpen and you know, he would really fortify our bullpen. He would make our bullpen pretty disgusting based on how he pitched out of the bullpen last year. But I want to see him as a starter, honestly, because his ratings are good enough to be a starter, and he's probably more valuable to us as a starter. So that's four guys right there, and then we still have Triggs and Anderson. So I just don't think starting pitcher is enough of a need. And these kind of trades for a Bumgarner or a Martinez might be available to us at the deadline anyway if we have to do it. So I'm going to take the catcher. I think the catcher is just a more valuable piece to us based on our own needs and the age and contract situation of the guys on our roster. Now, just looking at other guys we could do for this deal, we could actually do it for Gavin Cecchini. And, I mean, that just makes so much more sense, I guess. We pretty much have to do that because Rosario is certainly a more valuable piece. If I do the trade finder for Cecchini, I'm not going to get as good of offers, although I'll still get players like Jake Rogers offered apparently. But Zapukia, I think I like his prospects as a starter too much to just throw him away in this trade. Cecchini, I mean, like I said, Hampson is kind of Cecchini's long-term replacement. Cecchini is not bad in his own right, and he's been a pretty decent pinch hitter for us off the bench in the playoffs. Played for Italy in the World Baseball Classic. Let's look at his postseason stats. Yeah, he's had seven postseason at bats over the 2 years, and he's gotten 5 hits. So he's been pretty clutch. I know it's an extremely small sample, but I mean, I think trading him for Jake Rogers is just a no-brainer, quite honestly. So I'm gonna do that. I try not to form too much of an emotional attachment to these players, and I'm not gonna do that here. Cecchini for Jake Rogers is gonna be the deal. And then I'm going to hold on to Rosario for now. And if a Rosario for Carlos Martinez or Madison Bumgarner kind of trade is the deal I feel like we need to make as the season goes on for whatever reason, maybe we suffer another starting pitcher injury. Maybe Justin Dunn doesn't look any good. Maybe Triggs and Anderson both look like crap. Maybe Matz gets hurt again. That's the kind of move we can make down the road. I don't feel like we need to make it right now. So, and we don't have to because for now we can carry these extra infielders. Um, and eventually we can just, well, wait, hold on. How many? We have 26 guys on the roster right now, so we still need to send down one more. Oh, no, we have 4 bench bats, though. So it's got to be a pitcher then. It still has to be one more pitcher. Hawken was the Rule 5 guy. I don't want to send him down or get rid of him, but I feel like we might have to. He did look good in the in spring training, but his ratings right now are not very good. But I don't really think we can send anyone else down, so I think we're going to lose Hawken. But that's okay because we drafted him before we picked up Britton and Miller. We weren't sure we were going to have those guys. So I'm just going to get rid of him. We have some depth too. It's not like we're striving for or lacking for pitcher depth because we have some other guys here who we could use. Jorge Guzman's going to come up at some point this season. PJ Conlon will probably be up too since he's a lefty. And I forgot we have this Billy Hamilton who could probably really should be the 4th outfielder. So we're going to call him up. And who was the other guy we signed? Was it Trace Thompson? Or who else did we sign to be an outfielder? I don't remember. We signed one other guy to be outfield depth, but I don't know if we kept him or not. But anyway, that is going to do it. So a couple extra moves there. We pick up Jack Zollner, who I, for some reason, always want to call Zach Zollner. And we also did the Gavin Cecchini for Jake Rogers trade. And Rogers, I think he's at AAA right now. And I think we'll keep him there. Or is he in AA? Where is this Jake Rogers? Is he at the major league level? Or he's probably in this player's DFA'd because he is on the 40-man. So he does have some service time already. I guess I'll keep him in AAA for the time being, but he probably will be up for Plawecki in the near future. So we'll see how that plays out. But Rogers starting the year in AAA. But alright, so that is going to do it. This video has run on long enough, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.